This is the Plain English Real Estate Show with your host, Rowena Patton, a show that focuses on the real estate market in terms you can easily understand. Call Rowena now. The number is 240-9962 or 1-800-570-9962. Now here's the English girl in the mountains, the agent that I would trust, Rowena Patton.
Good morning and welcome to the show. This is Rowena Patton and we are doing part 2 of 77 things you should consider when building a home. Because we had so much feedback saying, you didn't finish them all. That was a pretty good show we did last week, wasn't it, Randy?
Yes, I enjoyed that. So you got more.
Yeah. Oh, there's lots more.
Lots more.
There were 77 things, and I think I got through... How many did we get through, do you think?
You're right. Maybe 20.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there's lots more of them, which is awesome and a good thing. So we start with our segment, Have You Noticed? We're not as cool as the segments on other TV shows and things where, there's a whole bunch of music and things around them. But I think we can probably do that, which would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, do an intro.
Yeah. Have you noticed? You can do it, Randy. Go for it.
Have you noticed?
Exactly. See, Randy did it right away. So, have you noticed that when you say things, and this comes from a conversation yesterday with a lady that's joining us in the assisted living CPO. We're having 2, 3, 4, 5 people join a week, which is awesome, all over the country. She's in Texas. And she said, I notice that when I say negative things, that they tend to manifest themselves. Actually, she didn't say that. She said, have you noticed that when you basically what I said, when you say something, then it tends to happen. Such as, and of course we know when you say things, your phone will throw all those things up to you because they really are listening to you. Remember when we used to think that was, what did we call it? What's the word for that?
Eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping, covert, but also conspiracy theory.
Big brother.
Everybody said, oh no, that's just a conspiracy theory. And now it's like the laptop. Oh, that was real too. Like all these conspiracy theories that people are like, oh, phones aren't listening to you. Don't worry about it. Well, indeed they are. However, back to what my lovely lady in Texas said. She said, just a week ago, I was vacuuming and I said, darn this vacuum cleaner. It's not very good. And it's going to give out on me any day. Sure enough, I was vacuuming away and it died. So have you noticed that you say things like that and you kind of manifest it?
It's the human will find what you're looking for. If you're looking for the vacuum cleaner to die, it will. If you're expecting and looking for good things to happen, they will happen.
Well, yes. And I think, whatever you believe in, whether you have faith or not, or whether you believe in things in the universe or not, it's just common sense. And what you focus on really does expand.
It does.
So if you're focusing on a new vacuum cleaner, it's not just your phone showing you the ads for the vacuum cleaner. It's everything, everywhere.
To remind
you notice the vacuum cleaner. And it's actually science. It's your caveman brain that is just focusing on that one thing. Whatever you tell your caveman or your cavewoman brain, it believes. It's really pretty dim. So you tell it you're amazing, it thinks you're amazing. You tell it you're stupid, it thinks you're stupid. And it keeps acting that way, which is very hard, right? So have you noticed? That's the finish of our Have You Noticed today, that when you talk about those things. And of course, we'd love to hear yours as well. This is a live show, unless you're listening to it podcast afterwards, of course. And it's 828-240-9962. Or if you're calling in from Mars, 1-800-570-9962. Do you ever wonder why we still have 800 numbers, Randy?
Yes, I do. I never use them. I don't know why. Are there still toll calls?
I guess so, honestly.
Maybe on a landline. I haven't had a landline in
me too
15 years. Maybe there's still a toll if you don't use if you dial a direct on a landline.
But it's so rare now that even having an 800 number seems old-fashioned.
It is.
Isn't it funny? Call our 1-800 number. We have operators standing by.
Yes.
So actually, if you're thinking about listing your house, we do have operators standing by 24/7. Really, you can call them at 4 o'clock in the morning. 828-333-4483. Also, if you're listing anywhere in the country and you want a full market value cash offer on your home, you can get that too. 828-333-4483. And I know if you're calling from Texas that most of you are not paying anything because you have a cell phone. So it's not an 800 number. Sorry about that. It's an 828. So I don't think anybody minds really. Maybe it's because the 800 is easier to remember, and then you've only got to remember 7 digits. Is that right? So 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I didn't grow up here, so sometimes the amount of digits are not natural to me necessarily.
Well, they weren't. They're not natural to me either, because when I was growing up, it was like a 2-digit preface.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like 01 or something now, which
Yeah.
is now like the country code is 2 digits, and you got to put a country code on as well. It is amazing how things have changed.
Yes.
Is that another one for our Have You Noticed?
Yes.
We could do a lot of Have You Noticed. Well, before we get into the 17 things you wish you had in your house, actually, I can kick it off with another one of mine, because I always talk about mine and the things I wished I had. The whole show last week was pretty much the things I wished I had. Well, I wished I had. This is sort of a thing you can bring in, really, except it needs an outlet outside. So we never, ever put enough outlets outside. And I was talking to my friendly neighborhood builder, who is a good friend of mine, who said that, when houses are built, obviously we save money not putting lots of outlets in. But if only you could be that end user and put all those outlets in, it would be so much easier. So yesterday, I got a little dream come true. I finally went and bought my Ninja XL grill.
I saw your Facebook.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so you can just look me up, Rowena Patton, on Facebook or Instagram. You can see it on both. This thing, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's got a lid on top. You can smoke a whole chicken. It's got a little smoker thing on the side. You know, old-fashioned smokers, like you've got to use all those pellets and the big giant things, and you got to have your smoker and you got to have your grill, and then we all got crazy about dehydrators. Do you remember that fad?
Yeah.
Well, this thing actually dehydrates too. It air crisps. It's like an air fryer, or it's got a basket that sits on top of it. It's basically a big oven that the top lifts. It's like a green egg, where the top lifts up.
I used to have a green egg. Is this gas-fired?
No, it's electric. That's what's so
It's
cool
electric.
about it. Yes.
Okay.
So you don't have to. I really don't. I'm a girl and I'm girly, and those things are heavy. When I say girly, like I tile, I do all kinds of manly things. I'm not supposed to say any of this, am I? Whatever. I do all those manly things as well. But the tank is really heavy for me to take it. And who the heck wants to mess with gas tanks?
They are heavy.
They should just plug it in.
You just plug it in.
It's awesome. You know what it reminds me of? A giant George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
Except it's got a dome on top and a fan. So this thing was smoking away. I've got a picture of it on Facebook. I've got the link to it as well, so you can go and take a look at it. It's expensive. It's $400, but everybody's been raving about the smaller one for years, and now they came up with this giant one. You can cook a turkey in it. It's that big.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
And you can smoke a turkey. You can smoke brisket in it for 4 or 5 hours.
Fantastic.
But you know what's really cool? Is the app on your phone. Like, this thing is phenomenal. It's got 2 thermometers that you plug in. I said pokey things last night. I called them temperature pokey things last night. But yeah, I mean, it just comes out. Well, you'll know. You listen to me on the radio for the last 12 years. So it's got 2 thermometers that you plug in the front, or thermometer probes, or whatever they are. And you stick them in your chicken or your steak or whatever. And your app on your phone. Now, this is like no app I've ever seen for cooking. Right, so the thermometers come with it. It's not an aftermarket thing. It comes with it. And you put them in your steak, or you put them in your turkey, or you put them in your brisket. It tells you what to do. Like, it literally said flip them over last night.
I've had the aftermarket when I had the big green egg. I had the instant read thermometer.
Yeah, which is very cool. I love those.
Yeah, but I also had the one you're talking about that had the phone technology. You just stoke fire, and you're going to let something go for 3 hours.
You can have a beer or 2 or 3.
Oh,
and then you're
yeah.
like,
You're
wait a
watching
second.
You don't raise the lid and let all the heat out, checking. It's right there on your phone.
And to all your young'uns out there under 40, once you get past 40, you start forgetting things like, where's my keys? Where's my phone? Wait, did I put the grill on an hour ago or 3 hours ago? Right? So, no, this is even better than what you're talking about, Randy, because it's built into the grill.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
man.
you literally, it's got this whole menu on your grill, and you click on mode on your grill. So, and it's not complicated at all. I don't like complicated apps and stuff on your phone. And you click on the mode, so you can click on smoker, and all your smoker recipes will come up. You can click on you can click on grill, all your grill, and not only that, it'll say it's got like 6 different types of steak, but within the 6 different types, it's got frozen. You can cook it from frozen.
Put a frozen steak on it. Yeah.
It's amazing.
That is amazing. I love it. Sounds a lot like the Big Green Egg and the fact that you can grill or you can slow smoke.
Yes.
It's a combination type.
Well, I suspect actually that I may be wrong here, but it's easily as big as, if not bigger, surface. That's what's nice about it.
Yeah. Then say I had the medium size. It's not as big as the medium. The large size, I guess.
Yeah.
Or small. I don't know.
And the thing is, you can cook anything that's big enough for a turkey is probably big enough for me and most families, honestly.
Yes. You can cook 4 steaks, I'm sure. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. And you can, so it's got a little scoop thing that puts and it's probably, I'm just guessing here, but it's probably half a cup. That's how many pellets you use. Instead of a whole bag of pellets, it's half a cup.
For the smoke part?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And it smokes for hours. I don't know how it does it, but it's amazing. Well, it burns the pellets, obviously, but slowly.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my thing. So when you're going to have things like that, now I don't have to deal with gas anymore, or have the gas line piped in when you build the house.
Had that done too.
I think the thing is that a lot of houses are spec built, therefore the builders aren't going to do things like that generally, especially now as the market's flattening and we are finding prices either flattening or dropping. There's very many more. We've had price reductions here now for 6 months in a row. Way more price reductions than last year and the year before and the year before at the same time. It's good, and I can get you this for anywhere in the country. I do it every day. In fact, what's new in cash CPO? Let's talk about that. What would my segment be for updating the worst job? The grunt. Let's call it the grunt work. We're going to have all kinds of segments today, and we're going to go through them every week. So I want you to think about what grunt work you've done this week, because everybody thinks I've got a glamorous job. So, we have thousands of agents now literally running this cash offer all over the country, and we're focusing on assisted living. So what we do is we work with assisted living facilities. So if you know anybody that works in a facility, we want the facility's details on our site. It's assistedlivingcpo.com, assistedlivingcpo.com. There's a button at the top saying add facility, because we are going to have the biggest list of assisted living facilities in the country with all the data on. So all these, they're called aggregation companies. They basically pull together a whole bunch of facilities, and the facilities pay thousands of dollars as a referral fee, because you're going to land on there, and they've developed, a pretty website with all the data on. So there's nothing wrong with that business model at all. We're doing it for free for the facilities. So we're going to have a whole list, because there's nothing worse than being a senior, and the average time you're going to spend in that facility is 29 months. We know we're floating up to the pearly gates after that. That is not very long. And the last thing you want to do in your 80s is sit there and go through showing your house. In fact, none of us want to sell our house. It's miserable. You got to tidy up. You got to keep it show ready. Now, of course, if you want a conventional listing, we can all do that as well. When you're going into assisted living, you get that call finally. You've been on a wait list forever and a day, and you get the call, and then you got to scramble. You got to get your house ready. You've got to get 40, 50 years worth of stuff sometimes in storage, or, you're telling your kids, hey, come and get that thing that you've been asking me to save for you from grandma for the last 20 years. And the kids are like, heck, I don't want that thing. You're like, no, but it's grandma's. You really wanted it when you were a child. They don't want your shit. Oh, sorry, Randy. Your shishel. Your shishel. He's bleeping me out. They don't want your shishel from all those years ago. Oh, I'm getting spanked now because I said a bad word on the radio. But they don't. They don't want all your crud and all your things at all. At all. Not even a little bit. So just go and clear it out. Let's face it, probably when your parents had you, keep all their stuff, you probably didn't want it either. There may be a few beautiful pieces. Well, keep your few beautiful pieces. It's okay. But start getting rid of all that stuff. So we can help with that too. And your money, the majority of your equity gets released in 14 days. It's very simple, guys. We come in, do HGTV magic on your home or something like that. And then we sell it. And then you get the profit minus the expenses. 2/3 of sellers make more than with a conventional listing. And you don't have to go through all those showings. You don't have to fix anything up. It becomes a certified pre-owned home because our funding partner pays for the inspection, pays for the appraisal. You've got all the sizes correct. And they upfront the money to fix all the things on the repairs so it doesn't drop out as often as a usual contract, which is over 1/3 of the time, by the way. Agents don't tell you that. I'm an agent too. I told you that right from the beginning. Since 2007, when I came up with Certified Pre-Owned, I've been telling you that these houses drop out all the time. That was my first year in real estate, and I was so miserable because I didn't understand why all these contracts were dropping out. Well, I thought maybe I'm just a new agent. No, it was because it comes to the inspection, and then everybody freaks out. The seller's like, oh, that mist has been in my windows upstairs since 1992, and it's never bothered me, and they can take it or leave it. And the buyer's like, wow, there is a defect on the house. I know I was buying it as is. Our contracts are as is, guys, but it doesn't matter. People are always going to ask you for money off. On average, it's 3 to 5% off your sale price. So remember that when you're comparing offers, right? So if your house is $500,000, on average, they're going to ask you for 15. And I've seen way more than that. So be prepared for that. And, I know you have all this emotional attachment and there are things that you just put up with. Well, the buyers are in a stronger position now because it's, we're either a flat, depending on where you're at in this area and most areas of the country, we're either a flat market, i.e. balance between buyers and sellers, or we're moving into a buyer's market, and that's going to continue for 3 to 5 years. So, get your house in order. Ooh, we just came up with another segment, Randy. Get your house in order. Isn't that cool?
Good advice.
Well, it's get your house in order if you're going to sell it.
Of course.
Or just take your cash off and you don't have to do anything. I mean, it's your choice, right? We have a great listing presentation, even though I say so myself. Actually, a lady called me yesterday from Illinois, just outside Chicago, and she said, I just want, because, I do a lot of training with all of these agents because I want us to be the most advanced, most well-trained people in the country because we're helping seniors. That's really important. When you've only got 29 months left and you've got somebody helping you sell your house, we've built these teams of people that help you pack up, that help you get rid of the stuff you don't want and make money for it, that contractors that come in and, help fix the things that need to be fixed. Once you're out, you can get out in 14 days or 90 days if you want. You can stay there, up to you. But we've built these whole teams of people. Anyway, this lady who's very well known up there, I can tell you it is, Colleen Bazinski, up just on the outskirts of Illinois, called me and said, I love this. I can't wait to get going with it. And we got her we build the list of facilities. We go and see the facilities, or each and every facility, bar none right now. We've probably got 150 facilities under our belts all over the country. Bar none, they have said, this is amazing. We can't believe somebody hasn't done this before. Bar none. It's amazing. So I can't wait to get going. In fact, usually the agents leave there with goodies. They come away with cookies and bottles of homemade wine, that the kids have brought into them. It's so cool after they've gone on the tour of the facility. And then what happens is the facility managers, if they come up with somebody that, they've made the call and they've still got to sell the house or the house is sitting, because it's going to take you 3 or 4 months. By the time you list it and then sell it, it's 3 or 4 months, and often you can lose your place on the list. And remember, they drop out 1/3 of the time too. It's just not fun. And who wants to be in their 80s? And, every time there's a showing, you've got to keep it show ready. If it's anything like my house smells of breakfast this morning, sausage patties, eggs, radish, balsamic vinegar, all kinds of yummy stuff. I wouldn't like it if my house was shown right now. In fact, the people coming in would probably love it and say, "Where's my breakfast?" But most of us live our lives in our houses. That's what we have our houses for. You don't want to have to keep it like that all the time. So that's where the assisted living CPO comes in. It's a whole package. 2/3 of you are going to make more money for your, the kids are usually handling it, which is always funny when I say the kids, because we have a lady right now who's 98, Josephine in New Jersey, that we're helping, and her kids are in their late 70s. So the kids in their late 70s, of course, she's 98. She lost her husband last year. Little sweetheart up in New Jersey. We're helping her out into the assisted living. We're going into her house, redoing it somewhat. We're spending about $20,000 redoing it, and then we'll list it, and I'm almost sure she'll make more money. But most importantly, we've got her in. She's got 2 weeks to sign on the dotted line, not with us, but with the assisted living facility, so that she doesn't lose her spot, and she's now going to be able to get in instead of lose her spot. I wouldn't want to lose my spot if I were 98. Would you, Randy?
That's a win-win. That's a great story.
Well, that's what these stories are. My couple with one of them having Alzheimer's and getting them out, it's the same thing. But honestly, this works for anybody. It's not every agent that comes into the program. It's so funny. The assisted living CPO says, can I use this for expired listings? Can I use this on my listings? Yes, you can use it for anything. So if you're a person that doesn't want people poking around your house, or a lockbox on your door, or maybe you've got a business in your house and you don't want people to know you're selling because, they don't know whether you're moving out of the area and you're not going to have your business anymore. I had one of those recently. You want to be private. Most of all, you don't have to fix anything because you've got to understand how real estate works, right? So if you understand how real estate works, the offer comes in and then you're into negotiation. And in most places in the country, there's a period of time where the buyers can get their earnest money back. Yes, they might have spent $500 or $600 on inspections, but that's all they're out. Maybe another house comes up that they're interested in, for example. Prices are dropping. Maybe, they got into yours a little high. Maybe interest rates have come down and they're locked in. Who knows? But 1/3 of those people back out when it's certified pre-owned. So listen, if you have a listing right now and you go, I wish I'd done that, you still can. Just talk to your agent and have them, contact an inspector and get your inspection done. And yes, I hear you say, well, don't the buyers do that? Yes, the buyers do that. And then they're going to ask you for 3% on average. It's 3 to 5% of the value of your home because they're going to find a list of 40 things. Oh, no, they won't, I hear you say. Yes, can you say, oh, no, they won't, Randy?
Oh, no, they won't.
Well, Randy, let me tell you. Here's the thing. Even if you've got a brand new house, there's a whole bunch of things in your home that the inspector will find. After all, the inspector's got to make a living, right? So there will be a bunch of things on there that are found. We're doing a house right now, found a whole bunch of things. It's very well maintained. That they didn't think anything would be on there. It's, don't take it personally. It's not about that. When we do the cash offer, we do it automatically up front. The funding partner pays for it. It comes out up front. So it comes out of your profit eventually, but it means you don't have to lay any money out. If we find anything in there, then we can use their money. You can use your money if you want to. That's fine. But we can also borrow their money, essentially, to put all that stuff right. They don't charge interest on it or anything like that. Because they're making money. They charge a fee, but that fee is normally covered by the additional we're going to get for your home. Everybody wants to buy a home with everything cleaned up in it and ready to go, obviously. So get your house in order. That's our Get Your House in Order segment. So let's have a look. Maybe our trusty computer over here is finally working. No, it isn't. We're a little stuck here, Randy. If I want to do... this page has become unresponsive. We have... one of our computers in here is very sad and it's having a whole lot of... it might actually be going down the page. This is awesome. Okay, we'll start from the bottom because I know we didn't get to these. I love this one for pets. This is really cool. So now we're into our segment, things... we'll just do a segment every week. Things you wish you had. We'll call it that. So it could be when you're building a house or things you wish you had. And maybe now you don't have space for them, or now it costs a lot of money to do the additional. Like mine, for example, I've got a long extension cord. Thank you, Joe, for pulling out the long extension cord out there. So I've got a long extension cord on my deck at the back to my Ninja grill, which if you want to see my Ninja grill, go to Rowena Patton on Facebook. There aren't many of us in the world. There's about 3 of us, so you'll find me real easy. So, I wish I had an extra outlet out there. Now, could I have one put in? Of course I could, but I wonder how much an extra outlet would cost. $500 at least?
Well, it depends on where it's got to come from and through and to and up.
Right.
And, yeah.
It's probably $1,000 being realistic.
Could be.
And when you're building it, I don't know, any builders can call in and let us know. 800-570-9962. We'd love to know how much you would charge, maybe by the foot. And you're going to say, oh, well, it depends. Just like Randy did. I can hear you saying it.
Well, that's manscaping, yeah.
Manscaping.
Mansplaining.
Oh, you better bleep that one as well, Randy. We're not going to ask what... Anyway, so let's talk about pets, for example. So plan a specific place for your dog food. I've actually got... A lot of these I haven't got. I'm not being I've got that person here. But I do have that, and it came about by accident from a little cupboard that I built that's 1 can deep on the end of my pantry. So it's one can deep. I think I mentioned it last week. You can see everything. And basically, if you can't find something, look in there because you can find it basically, which is very cool. So it's got a little overhang because it's stuck on the side, around the side where that wasted space was. And now I've got 2 mugs that I bought from the grocery store, and I've got messages coming in on Facebook, by the way, laughing at your manscaping. Yeah, so we'll just say that a few times. Maybe we'll have a manscaping section. Mansplaining. That's what we. Oh,
there you go.
That's another segment. It's called mansplaining, and
there's another whole segment.
Yeah, you're gonna do some.
Show.
You're gonna do some mansplaining every week, Randy. It'll just be one piece on there. If you'd like to call in with your mansplaining or what your man says about something that you always think is mansplaining, give us a call, 800-570-9962. We are going to start doing giveaways. We have condo weeks in Fort Lauderdale, which is a very easy flight from here, but you can take it anywhere you are in the country for, a long weekend or something like that. If you happen to live in Asheville, then you can get flights as cheap as $40 on Allegiant direct into Fort Lauderdale. It says it's Miami, but it's Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So it'd be a very inexpensive vacation for you. So you want to get online looking at these. So tell us about your mansplaining, 800-570-9962. So my cabinet on the end creates a little space for these mugs that I never use. They're great big giant, those great big giant chili mugs or soup mugs that you buy from the grocery store, and you're like, oh, they're really pretty. They've got a nice picture on the side, and you buy them and then never use them, and they get stuck in your cabinet. And you're like, why have I got all this junk? I've been listening to that girl, Rowena. Oh, wait, she's got all that junk too. Yeah. So now they make a nice little doggy bowl for Sophie. So one's her water and one's her food. So it doesn't get tucked under all the time, obviously, but when my little Roomba's running around or something like that, I can tuck, or they're just annoying me, I can tuck them underneath, which is really nice. So a specific place for your dog food can often be, actually, it depends on whether you got little dogs or big dogs, I understand that, but plan a space in your mudroom, under the sink. Maybe you leave it open and just have a little area built there. Again, very inexpensive when you're building. But oh my gosh, try and modify something afterwards for that. That's not fun. A place for the cat litter box. You might want an outlet as well, because if you've got a cat, invest in one of those ones, and you've got the money to do it, obviously. Invest in one of those auto ones. They've gotten so much better. They basically roll around, and, once your cat's done the hoo-ha, they roll around. It senses that your cat's been in there. Now, if your cats just like to go in and look around, which I used to have cats years ago that did that. I bought one of the early ones probably 15, 20 years ago. If they just like to look around, then you're stumped, basically. But The thing rolls around when your cat triggers something. It's either a pressure point or a light, depending on the model that you get. And then it scoots around and it chucks the litter into a box underneath. Now, how cool would it be if you built... Think about the drip tray at the back of your barbecue. Wouldn't it be cool if you built... Oh, or like the outage on your fireplace. Wouldn't it be cool if you built a little drawer, right, that you could pull out? Stop laughing, Randy. Or like a door on the outside of your house where you could just pull that outside. Yeah. And then you have a big trash can, right? You if you've got enough space, obviously.
I can see this Rube Goldberg invention here. It
I
pulls
can't
a
help
lever
it. I like stuff that works, right? So you've got a door on the back, right? So imagine this. You're in your mudroom or your little room or whatever you like to call it, and under the sink or under the countertop or under the bench for that matter, under the bench you have your cat litter tray. Of course, you need an outlet under there as well. We've got to think about those outlets. Your cat litter tray goes in there, and you put it on a rolling drawer, right? And that rolling drawer you can access outside with a door. It's not as silly as it sounds, like the size of a big dog door, basically, but it's a proper external door. Yes, that might cost you $500, but how nice to be able to pull the cat litter, stinky cat litter, outside. And then you double up on your trash cans, your big green trash cans, and you have one at the back that you just fill up with all that cat litter. Wouldn't that be cool? That's my dream house. I don't have a cat, so it'd be pretty strange. But place for the dogs to be bathed. That's another important one that you don't necessarily think about. Again, depending on the size of your dog, and I don't know why people don't like bathing their dogs in the shower. I have no idea. In fact, when I lived with 2 dogs last year, I used to take them in the shower with me, and they were big dogs, big giant dogs. And I'd take them in the shower, and they got used to it, and they loved it, actually. You might be surprised.
Wow.
You shut the door, they can't get out.
Yeah.
You're in there with them. You go in with your bathing suit on or naked, whatever you like. Are we allowed to say that, Randy?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Neeked.
Naked.
Yes. Naked.
Can we say naked or?
Louis Grissard, great Southern columnist in Atlanta for years, said that if you don't have any clothes on, you're naked, Naked. But if you don't have any clothes on, you're naked. That means you don't have any clothes on, you're up to something.
Oh.
Neeked, naked.
Interesting. I'm waving in front of Randy's like, what are you waving at? My phone keeps stopping streaming on. It's obviously a setting or something. I need somebody who knows how to use a phone properly to come and fix it for me. So when I wait, see, it's just, it's messages coming in. Now I see what's happening because everybody is can't use camera. I've used all the space in the camera. How hilarious is that? Oh my gosh, I've literally used all my space in my camera. For those of you listening, you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about. This also streams on YouTube as well. So, but not today.
Because your memory's full.
It's probably a good thing because I don't look so great on a Saturday because it's my radio day. Poor Randy sees me out and about in town and he doesn't even recognise me because, I'm in my radio gear on a Saturday. It's pretty funny. All right, so cat litter box, door on the outside would be pretty cool. Or just have the outlet down there because, most of us can't go to those extremes. Think of a place where that rolling cat litter box can go. Because I can tell you, all the houses that, oh my gosh, especially when you're selling your house, people don't like the idea that cats have been in the house very often. A lot of people have allergies to cats. But not only that, I know this is going to be a shocker, they stink. The cat litter, cats don't stink, they're very clean. But the cat litter tray, and you can't help it, that cat litter gets tracked. Yes, I know the special mats you can get to, capture it and everything else. But you do not want to see, you want to, eliminate any traces of that when you're selling your house. But yeah, when you're building a house, a place for the cat litter box. Don't forget that one. And of course that's difficult because most houses live longer than we do. That's a scary thought, isn't it? So they don't have just one owner. What if you have cats now and the previous people didn't? The nice thing is that it doesn't, people say, well, what if the next people don't have a dog? A lot of people put the dog, coming back to a place for the dogs to be bathed, a lot of people have something in a mudroom if they've got a house that big. I love it when people say these things, by the way, because I don't know if you agree with me, but most people well, it's just a fact. Most people live in a house that's 12 to 1,600 square feet. That doesn't leave you a lot of room because we're living in, 1960, 1970 houses. So obviously we're living in a house that's smaller generally. Not always. Obviously, some of you are living in giant houses, but the majority of the population lives in a small house. So we talk about things like mudrooms and laundry rooms. Laundry rooms in my house when I moved in, the laundry was downstairs in what I call my dirt basement. I did build a box upstairs to put it in, basically, and stacked it because I didn't want to go downstairs. But we don't have these giant laundry rooms with windows and places to put the dog bath. However, when you're building a house, you want to think about that. Or, in my case, I built a bench, basically, in the shower. It didn't cost me any room, and I can sit on it as well. And it doesn't cost any more to put that in. And that's where Sophie stands when I shower her. So I'm not having to bend down to shower. It's just the right height. And that's where Sophie gets bathed. But I do know that I've seen these wonderful mudrooms that have a whole little mini shower in to bathe your dog. And then you go, what if the next people don't have dogs? Who cares? You're building it for you. That's the whole point of building your whole own house. And often, I don't know, maybe people store things in it. Or maybe they might go, oh, I love this dog shower in here. I'm going to get me a dog to put in the dog shower. Who knows? But, make it how you really want it, like your dream house, because all of this is not a big cost when you're building. I know there are builders out there going, oh, she just added $2,000. Oh, she just added $5,000. Like, you know what? If you're spending $500,000 to buy a house, spend an extra 20 and get it perfect. Well, okay, 20 wouldn't be enough for some people because, where does the list stop? I understand that. However, you can get it, much more close to what you're looking at. Here's another one. Plan a specific place for your dog food. If you've got anything like a big... Now, Sophie has probably a gallon, pretty stainless steel pot that lives on the countertop with a scoop inside it. She gets one cup a day. So she has half a scoop in the morning and half a scoop at night, and then all my leftover tomato pieces because she loves tomatoes. That's a whole other story. However, when you've got a big dog, they have giant bags of food. Giant bags. What do? Put them in the garage? Guess what happens then? Good luck, because the mice really they can nibble on that all winter. I had that in that last house that I lived in, and it was disgusting. These little mice get in. Doesn't matter how airtight your garage is. I don't know how they get in, but they do. And that was in a more modern house, so I don't even have a garage now. But where do you put that giant bag of food? So plan a space for that. When I do get big bags of food, I happen to have and I don't have a big kitchen at all, but I have a roll-out tray that it goes on, so that you don't have to bother with dragging it in from the garage or going to the garage with that ding ding if you've got the alarm on your garage that goes on every single day when you're feeding your doggy. So plan that space. You're feeding your dog every day just like you're feeding yourself every day. So plan a space for your dog food. I feel like I'm starting some arguments now, Randy, don't you at home? I told you we needed a place for the dog food. Now she said the same thing. Are you hearing that girl saying that? Can't you hear the arguments going on?
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
That the dog freaking stinks, and I told you we needed a place to bathe it, and I told you that it would scratch. Look at all these scratches on my arm where I tried to take it in the shower with me. Now they'll be blaming me because they've tried taking the dog in the shower. A lot of dogs actually love being showered. If you get the water right and everything else, and soap them all up, they don't mind at all. And if you get it right for you, you'll bathe them more often. Your dogs won't stink. There you go. So let's do the overall section on here. Receptacles for fire extinguishers. I'm not even sure what that means, honestly, because most fire extinguishers come, and you can find this list, by the way, at thebungalowcompany.com, and it's 77 things to consider when building a new home. I'm going to start putting these together from ones you're sending me, because you're sending me all kinds of things. Go ahead and just message me on Facebook. Look up Rowena Patton on Facebook, or you can DM me on Instagram or YouTube or anywhere else you can find Rowena Patton. I'm very easy to find because there aren't many people with my name. That's, I guess I got lucky there or something. Not when I was a kid because everybody thought it was a ridiculous name. So receptacles for fire extinguishers, most of them come with, maybe little nooks that you can put them into. But then what if the size changes? That's the same thing as a built-in microwave for me. I don't believe in those because it always goes eventually. And I was also, here's another thing. Don't put your microwave over the range. It's the doofusy place for a microwave. It gets hot underneath. Often you have them venting into the house. That's a really daft idea, by the way. It's just blowing your smells out into the room. They get all greasy and nasty. And what happens when they go? They're not all the same size. And then you've got the daft as heck cupboard over the top of the microwave that you never ever use or can't get to. Or if it's vented, it sticks out. Do you know, I am going to buy a domain or use one of my domains and point out my blog posts on this. So, in fact, you can go to cashgpo.com, click on blog, and on the blog, there's a section called remodeling, and I'm sure I've got the vent in there, which is $300. I've put them in 4 different houses now. It's $300 for the metal chimney, and then the vent that comes out, the motor, everything. Lights in it. My lights have just gone. So got to figure that out. But it's been 5 years since the lights went, so I'm sure it's fine. It's very quiet. $300 to really modernize and upscale your house. Take that silly cupboard out at the top and do your nice tile backsplash behind it and then put your chimney in. And is it worth venting? Yes. A lot of you have them vented into the attic as well. And I can tell you that when we do the inspections, it will come back, shouldn't be vented into the attic. I'm just saying, I'll get into a lot of trouble for this, but I think that's a bit daft because your attic's usually big and it's usually vented. So, the fact that you're cooking your bacon and that smell's going up into the attic, I don't know why that's such a big problem. If you're an inspector out there, maybe you could tell me why it's a big problem.
I can understand I can understand not venting the bathroom exhaust fan into the attic because of the moisture it releases. But not the exhaust fan in the kitchen.
Well, I guess that's moisture as well, so it's
maybe.
Except that, aren't you getting moisture in there through the vent anyway? And how much are you putting in there, Anyway, they're supposed to be vented. That will come back on your inspection report, and that's part of the 3 to 5% that they're going to ask you for in repairs. Just know that. And most old houses vented into the attic. It's another one of those things where we say, we grew up with it and it didn't hurt us, right? I think it's another one of those.
When we grew up, it didn't have an exhaust fan in the bathroom.
In fact, your bathroom had 100 feet to walk to it down the yard. Yeah, no, absolutely. So you spoiled people with vents. Why we're talking about that, always put the timer on the switches. Always. It's just ridiculous not to do that. So all the builders will tell you that might add $50, if that. It's a timer so that when you leave the bathroom, you click on 10 minutes. And I want you all to think about now talking to your spouse or your partner or your kids or anybody else you live with going, turn the fan off! Don't we all hate those things running all the time?
And I'll tell you furthermore, they're dangerous when you forget that the thing I come into radio station early on Monday morning, and I find the exhaust fan running in the bathroom that's been running all weekend.
Oh, really?
That's dangerous.
Why is that?
They're a little motor, and they run and get hot and create fire danger.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, lots of fires start from those things.
And that's why we need
a timer.
Those fire extinguishers.
Yeah, right.
Or no, a timer. And, we're all so environmentally friendly. But it's so funny. We use coffee pods. For the convenience, we use the stirrers are the funniest things to me.
The what?
Freaking plastic and wooden stirrers for your coffee.
Oh.
Use a spoon.
Oh,
Rinse it out under the faucet and then put it back in the tray right away. Like, I don't get it. I don't get some of these things. Anyway. Or paper plates. All you boys using paper plates.
Easy.
Do you use them?
You've quit preaching and gone to meddling now.
You use them, don't you?
Of course.
What a waste of money. So anyway, I won't go on and on much. So I guess that's what I'm paid to do, right? Sit and go on and on the radio. So you're all just out of luck. So yes, put your. Who likes to hear that darn thing going anyway? I'm sure when you spend 5 times as much money, you can get quieter fans as well. They do tend to be quieter now. Motors on most things have gotten a little quieter. Maybe they break sooner, but a little quieter. However, get that timer on there. It's just ridiculous not to put that in. And you end up cracking tile, if you've got a tiled wall and all that kind of stuff when you try and do it later, or it doesn't fit the same. Enough outlets as well. Add soundproofing where needed. So this is another thing where, you know what? We all know that when you build a house, it's going to cost you 10 to 20% more than what you thought it was going to cost. Add money in the comforts, because that's what we're talking about a lot of here. A comfort is not screaming at somebody to turn the fan off, or going back into if you live on your own, going back into the bathroom in the morning and going, oh, wait, I left the fan on all night. It's costing you money, it's wasteful, and it's noisy, unless you have, soundproof doors, I guess. So here's another one. Add soundproofing where needed. When I was first in Asheville 18 years ago, I bought a 4-unit building on Flint Street. It's actually called the Patton Flint House, and it's at 117 Flint Street. And we made some of the first luxury condos in Asheville. I nearly said the country. It's not the country. In Asheville. And I spent weeks researching stuff to use. And we had this thick, rubbery rolls of stuff that we put down on the floor. I've never seen it since, actually. You can do all kinds of things, but there's nothing worse, because I've lived in a condo building, than people clomping about above your head. Not only that, you can put insulation, obviously, between the floors. Now, you can do this in a house as well. Do you really want to hear people clomping about upstairs in your house? So find ways to insulate it, whether it's spray-in or insulation. I'm sure our builders out there have all kinds of good ideas on that. Do a little bit of research and see how much it would cost. It's probably going to cost you $1,000 to insulate that floor. Would be, but if you're living in a house full of people, maybe they're have you ever noticed kids in a house? It's funny, when I was away the other weekend, the lady of the house said, I'm so sorry my kids were clomping around, because we were in like a little basement apartment downstairs. She's like, and kids walk like they're 300 pounds.
Yes.
And they're tiny, but they just like clomp, clomp, clomp. You never know when that's going to happen, when your grandkids might come to stay, or your kids, or just your friends coming to stay, basically clomping. Maybe they've got lead feet and they're clomping about upstairs. It might be worth that money. Or maybe one of you wants to watch a different TV show. Maybe, what's the famous couple where, is it James Carville and his wife, a Democrat and socialist?
Yes.
Democrat and Republican.
Madeline, her first name's Madeline.
Yeah, I hope I'm getting his name right. Anyway, so imagine they probably watch different news shows. So
I can imagine.
They probably need an insulated wall, But get a quote, and where you can, add that soundproofing. For some of you, money's no object. I definitely think of it then, but you don't necessarily know all the things you don't know. So definitely think about soundproofing there. Here's another one. A phone by the door leading into the garage for calls when you're getting in and out of the car. What? This is a
phone.
I wonder if this list was made 20 years ago. Wait, what?
A wall phone outlet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that one's a bit old hat. An inside button to open and close your garage door. Who doesn't have that?
Yeah. That's
Actually, I have seen them where they're not in
right
place
outside
before.
the door. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying. One is pocket doors too. That's
Love
another
pocket
one.
Doors.
Yeah. Now the only thing is you can't hang things on the back of them. I like putting hooks on the back of my door. So
No, you can't.
in the bedroom, for example, I like to have that for a robe, or my PJs or whatever. So you don't have that on the back of linen cupboards. I like to hang things like a mop, or I don't know, those long pokey things you can't like long pokey things like a duster for the ceiling.
Yeah.
Use your words, Ro. Come on, you can do it. Like a not a Swiffer. Oh, like a Swiffer. Yeah.
Duster.
Yeah, duster. Yeah. Just because I don't want to advertise Swiffer, because they just won't pay me the money. I'm kidding, but No, the things on poles, like maybe you use a broom. You can put your broom in there. So you can't do that with pocket doors. But oh my gosh, when you're in a tight space, which again, most builders aren't thinking about tight spaces unless they're building tiny homes. But there's a whole slew of homes that are mid-sized, right? So 12 to 1,600 feet, which is what the vast majority of the population lives in. And that's why they used to use pocket doors, pocket doors in the bathroom, so you don't have this big door banging into you, or two doors that are opening onto each other in a space. It's so helpful. That's not on the list, by the way. I just added it in there. Ensure builders don't box off spaces where storage or shelving could go. It's cheaper to box off a space, right, just to put the sheetrock up. But you've probably got space above the stairwell, or where you go downstairs, there's probably hidden space. If you go down into a basement, there's hidden space there. I've got one above mine, and I put a door on it and about 4 shelves. There I go, being the know-it-all again. Plan an elevator. This is a really important one. Plan an elevator shaft. All that means is leave room if you've got a house that's more than 1 floor, obviously because you don't need an elevator if it's not more than 1 floor. Plan a space on the different floors where that elevator could go. They can be very, very small these days, and actually they can be very inexpensive as well. And it's not about putting an elevator in. Just make sure there's a space there where you could put the elevator, and it doesn't have to look odd either. That's a really important one. It could serve as storage closets right now.
Two closets on top of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And that's a real aging in place thing. And it's something I've been discussing lately that, I always like to add mine. I'm apparently like the knick-knack or the gadget girl or something. But this one is a true spatial one. To me, it's so obvious to have a pantry that spans both the kitchen and the garage, right? So it's not, you don't walk through it to get into your house. That's a different door. But this is, my dream actually is a refrigerated one. But it could be big. It could be, again, this is when you're building your house, right? Or your barn dominium or something like that. Where it could even be, imagine something that's 10 by 8. Randy's imagining it in his head now. Where it's got a door from the garage, and it sticks out a little bit into the garage because you've got a giant garage anyway. And you walk in and there's shelves everywhere, and your toilet paper. Do we call them toilet rolls or toilet paper here? I can never get that one right. Paper. But you know what I mean. They're called toilet rolls in England. So I'm going to call it toilet rolls, darn it. So all you can actually finally go to Costco or Sam's Club, get all your toilet rolls, put them in there. Get all your paper towel, get all your canned goods, get all your stuff.
Is this thing a pass-through?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a pass-through. But it's accessible from the kitchen too. But
That's
you don't
genius.
have to go into the kitchen or anywhere to put all this stuff away.
Great.
Isn't that cool?
But
isn't it like really obvious? Imagine if one side of that. Now, to do it cheaply, you could just put a fridge in there, right? But imagine if you had a refrigerated one of those. Oh my gosh. But yeah, just you could buy a cheap, ding and dent freezer to put in there, and then put all your refrigerated stuff in there as well. But all you have to do is open the door, and that becomes your pantry to your kitchen. Wouldn't that be cool? Don't you want one, Randy?
I can see that.
Thank you for listening today, guys. We'll be doing our segments next week. We'll love you all. See you on the radio next week.
This has been the Plain English Real Estate Show with Rowena Patton. Visit Rowena and post your questions at radioasheville.com or call her at 828-210-1648.